Everyone remembers James Arness from his iconic role as Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke. Aside from his one co-star, he had a reputation for being cordial and professional. When they started to communicate and work in completely different ways, tensions rose. Their usually upbeat group felt a bit depressed because of this. What was it about this cast member that Arness found objectionable that prompted her to want them removed? Most people are aware that Gunsmoke aired for the longest period of time of any Hollywood Western. Behind the scenes, there was just as much drama. Join us as we discuss the implications of this shocking split for one of the most watched television series of all time. When TV Westerns were popular, it ran for an incredible 20 years, from 1955 to 1975. The genre's popularity waned with the years, but Gunsmoke managed to remain popular and become a beloved classic. The intriguing characters and thrilling plot made the show a hit with viewers. Even though people's preferences shifted over time, Gunsmoke managed to maintain its popularity. It was one of the most watched television series of all time because families gathered around the TV each week to see Marshal Matt Dillon carry out his duties. Its format shifted from radio to television after it moved from the radio to better suit the tastes of its audience. Over time, it expanded from a 30-minute black and white program to an hour-long one. Finally, it reached full color, which improved its appearance even further. The goal of each modification was to maintain interest and novelty. One of the longest-running dramas of all time, Gone with the Wind, became a classic. From 1952 until 1961, the radio series Gunsmoke was a pioneer in its field. A hit TV show was subsequently made from it. Audiences praised the radio show for its thrilling tales and realistic depictions of the Wild West. The radio show continued for an additional 6 years after its 1955 transition to television, further solidifying its status as an entertainment trailblazer. The TV show was able to maintain its consistent vibe thanks to the radio show's establishment of the tone. At first, John Wayne declined to play Marshal Matt Dillon. Despite being asked to play the part, the famous actor declined due to his heavy filming schedule. Even though he was cast out of the pilot, Wayne recorded a promotional intro because he enjoyed the show. Because of this, Gunsmoke became very famous. James Arness eventually took over and truly made the role his own, making an indelible impression. Prior to his acting career, James Arness served in the United States military. He said there's no effort too elusive. While in the sales process, the prospect was merely asking whether offers worth should stop be sold. Having served his country with honor during WHR, he was a member of the 3rd Infantry Division that participated in the Allied invasion of Anzio, Italy. His height of 6 feet 7 inches made him ideal for a wide range of parts. While filming Gunsmoke, his character, the Marshal, dealt with a multitude of problems, including fights, stabbings, and poisoning, a testament to his experience in the military and the studio's and writer's desire for someone capable of handling a lot. Originally written for James Arness, the role required little adaptation. Arness's collaboration with Amy Stock on 4 Gunsmoke films demonstrated the seamless transition from off-duty to on-screen Marshal persona. Stock recalled that his first sighting of him was while dressed as Dillon, hat, coat, and tennis shoes. By the time they yelled out, "We're ready for you on set," he had barely gotten out of his chair and was still wearing his tennis shoes. He quickly changed into Matt Dillon garb and headed straight for his horse. Actress Amanda Blake was overjoyed to land the role of Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke, a Western television series. She counted herself lucky to co-star with James Arness, who played Marshal Matt Dillon. Gunsmoke ran for 20 seasons from 1955 to 1975, and Amanda's portrayal of Miss Kitty, owner of the local saloon in Dodge City, became an instant hit with viewers. Her appearance became even more striking when the show went from black and white to color in the 1966 season, midway through its run. While James Arness remained with the show for all 20 seasons as Matt Dillon, Amanda Blake left in the 19th season as Miss Kitty. The writers didn't divulge much about the relationship between Matt and Miss Kitty, but it was evident that they had a deeper bond. Arness also dealt with injuries sustained in the war while pursuing his acting career. Filming the action sequences first thing in the morning helped ease his knee and foot pain, but he still gave his all to the role, proving he was just as strong as his character on the Gunsmoke set. The production team meticulously planned Arness's scenes so he could get the rest he needed over the 20 seasons, but he still maintained a strong screen presence, demonstrating his dedication and professionalism. William Conrad had the voice of Matt Dillon on the radio, but the producers didn't think he would be a suitable fit for the TV version. James Arness, with his towering stature and rugged good looks, was a more natural choice to play the heroic Marshal. Conrad had a fruitful career in film and television, and in the show's legendary second-to-last season, Gary Busey played Harv. The fact that he was the last Gunsmoke character to die was a major event in the show's history. Regarding Miss Kitty Russell, her radio performance as Madam was more dramatic, but the TV adaptation had to tone it down due to stricter rules, so she was portrayed as a revered business owner of the Long family. With this change, Branch Saloon became more relatable and the show became more popular with viewers. The opening scene of Gunsmoke began with Matt Dillon in a gunfight, which set the tone for the show. However, as anti-violence movements grew in the 1970s, networks pushed for a kinder approach, so Gunsmoke changed its opening sequence to fit in with the times while keeping the show's main themes the same. CBS even planned to cancel the show in 1967. With a total of 635 episodes over 20 seasons, Gunsmoke held the record for the most episodes of any primetime scripted series for many years. Gilligan's Island was subsequently canceled due to fan disapproval and executive support, but the show was rescheduled to Monday nights, where it continued to do well. Despite this, Gunsmoke is still considered one of the best things to happen to television ever. James Arness was known for being a chill co-star, but Amanda Blake, who played Miss Kitty Russell, was supposedly a fan of Arness. The record stood until The Simpsons beat it in 2018. Despite Arness' distaste for her and his desire for her to depart from the show, Gunsmoke managed to become a classic. Viewers naturally imagined a romance blossoming between the two likable characters, but the chemistry between them was more than just fan speculation. Miss Kitty frequently sported fashionable attire and served cocktails to rowdy cowboys who occasionally. Miss Kitty, who was a daring pioneer woman and much more interesting than most, was in charge of hiring and firing her waitstaff. The girls she chose were younger and a little bolder than her. The cowboys, they were tough. She was always there to listen and offer advice about their cowboy tales, which was very inappropriate for a Sunday school teacher in 1955 or a proper lady in the Wild West. Miss Kitty even had a shotgun hidden behind her bar. The show's creators and writers opted against public displays of affection between Kitty and Matt in favor of natural, believable chemistry between the characters, with Arness portraying a rough-and-tumble cowboy who was looking for more than just a drink and some small talk upon returning from the cattle trails. Was Matt embarrassed by Kitty's outspokenness? If Matt and Miss Kitty were so in love, why didn't they get married after 20 years of being together? The police officer was strong, shot well, and could ride a big horse, so he was a good peacekeeper, but perhaps not the best husband. Kitty and Matt's relationship on Gunsmoke never really took off, according to James Arness's autobiography. Fans often wondered why Matt Dillon and Kitty didn't end up together, and she was strong enough to drink and shoot with the toughest men, so Dillon may have simply wanted a wife who fit a more traditional home-centered role. Arness explained that the producers, not the actors, decided the trajectory of their relationship, noting that it was their choice because going any further could have been detrimental in response to fans' repeated questions about my character Matt Dillon's connection with Kitty and why it seemed to end just short of romance. As for our relationship, he said that it was downplayed because they thought it would be more exciting for viewers to fill in the blanks about us, and that keeping their relationship a little mysterious might be more interesting for viewers, even if they didn't see it that way. Arness recommended Amanda Blake for the role of Russell, praising her as an excellent example of good casting that contributed to the show's success, and gushing about her as a friend and an actress. Their friendship was evident off-screen throughout the show. Concerns about Kitty's safety and the potential dangers of Kitty's relationship with Matt Dillon prompted Jim Burns, who wrote 34 of the show's best episodes, to reflect on why the couple chose to keep their relationship under wraps. After the fade-out, Burns stated, "There was an unspoken agreement that once the Long Branch closed and Matt Dillon displayed we never found out why, but he would go upstairs after the Long Branch closed for the night. There was never a kiss, but there was plenty of flirting, teasing, hugging, and walking away with each other." For fear of drastically altering the show's protagonist or its cast, James Arness was certain that the writers had intended to keep Matt and Kitty's relationship vague. Lots of fan mail requesting more music suggested this tactic was effective. The creators maintained this dynamic tension throughout the show in an effort to keep viewers engaged and wondering. He found it to be quite effective. Even though the Gunsmoke writers weren't huge fans of Matt and Kitty's wedding, they were aware that the happy couple would face challenges and temptations on their journey to the altar. In Kitty's Outlaw, an episode from Kitty's 5th season, Ansley, a former troublemaker, challenges her allegiance to Matt. Matt tries to aid an orphan in Cotter's Girl, while Claude Arner steps in for Kitty in The Way It Is, both from Season 8. In Season 12, Mariette Harley develops a strong crush on him, and Sarah, portrayed by Anne Francis, returns as an old flame of Matt's. In her pursuit of reconciliation with him, she runs an away station for criminals. After witnessing Matt's 11 gunshot wounds in Season 15, Kitty decides to sell the Long Branch, relocate to a new town, and launch a new business venture with Beverly Garland. It seemed like something changed in 1973 between Matt and Kay's relationship. The contributions of Miss Michael Learn were recognized in The Waltons portrayed Matt's romantic interest in a plot where he experiences amnesia. Unlike Matt's usual relationships, theirs develop and culminate in a kiss, but Miss Kitty is his first stop when he remembers. Curiously, a TV movie that came out 17 years later showed a similar plot point, this time with a kidnapped child born to Miss Learn's character and Matt. After Matt enlists the aid of another character in his quest to find his child, things take an unexpected turn when that character expresses an interest in marrying Miss Larned's character, a development that heightens the romantic tension between Matt and Kitty. During a stagecoach heist, Miss Kitty encounters a man in a later season who suffers injuries protecting her. After this man pops the question, Kitty has a heartfelt chat with Matt about their history and how she feels about him. She wishes their relationship could progress further, but she knows that their circumstances prevent it. Although Matt acknowledges his emotions, he ultimately lets Kitty make the call. Amanda Blake's tenure as Miss Kitty came to an end that season. She had frequent arguments with producer John Mandel regarding Blake's costumes and found the frequent travel difficult because she was married and lived in Arizona. Miss Kitty was expected to exude an air of timeless elegance, a point that Mantle disagreed with. Manley rejected Blake's request that she get new clothes before continuing, declaring, "That was the biggest mistake I ever made." What followed was an extraordinary 19 years that culminated in the creation of a beloved Western television series. Actress Amanda Blake has remarked that filming Gunsmoke was like spending time with relatives. She found a sense of community on set again after her first divorce in 1956, so much so that she would spend her days off there no matter how she didn't seem. Her second marriage, to Jason Sorday, took place in 1964, but the couple quickly separated. Frank Gilbert became her third husband in 1967, and she remained with him until 1982. Regarding the dynamics of the show, Amanda also had some insightful things to say. According to her, the writers of Gunsmoke feared that introducing a romantic subplot involving Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty would detract from the show's authentic Western atmosphere, which could have turned off some viewers. The old Western trope that heroes care more about their horses than they do about love was made fun of by Blake. As the ladies reassured the crowd that Dillon's feelings for Kitty outweighed his attachment to his horse, one of them mentioned how Gunsmoke was created to appeal to a diverse audience by capturing the essence of the Old West. Unfortunately, there weren't many opportunities for romantic plots due to the show's heavy focus on historical events. In Blake's vision, his admirers envisioned the Kitty and the Marshal could have been romantically involved, but there were no overtly passionate moments in the show. Arness later starred as Jim Bowie in the television movies The Alamo, 13 Days to Glory, and How the West Was Won, as well as in the series McLean's Law. But when John Mantle revived the show in 1987, the Gunsmoke cast reunited. Amanda went back to evade Jim Byrne's script for the first Gunsmoke TV movie. The 1,975 cancellation of Gunsmoke was unexpected, leaving viewers without a satisfying conclusion to the show. Gunsmoke ended with a mundane episode, in contrast to contemporary TV shows that frequently plot heart farewells. But thanks to reruns and the affection of its devoted viewers, it will live on in memory.